All right, so we're going to go a little bit more into Jameel Rawls' research as we proceed to give you what you need. First things first, about the conspiracy stuff, right? A lot of people think, okay, conspiracies, there's an ultimate conspiracy of people controlling stuff, people running stuff. I need to find out who these people are, how this stuff works, what kind of groups are involved. You're going to strike out on that level because ultimately it's all about beliefs. When you get to the core of what's going on, it's about beliefs. For instance, look at the Tupac, Shakur, Biggie Smalls feud. Now, I always thought for years that Tupac Shakur was perhaps murdered by Baby Lane. I think his real name was Orlando Anderson. Supposedly, he was a Compton Crip. He was a gang member. Just a dude from the hood. In Compton, California, USA, and because of that, people thought he killed Tupac. There was a lot of speculation as to how he did it, and the things around Tupac at that time, him being in Vegas at the casino, it didn't add up. And then people said, okay, well, Suge Knight did it. Suge Knight is, pretty much a gangster. And Suge Knight did this for whatever reason. Now we're being able to see through that. And we're able to see, it's very obvious this whole thing was fabricated and the man did not get killed. He might not even have been there. That's going to hit a lot of people out of left field. He might not even have been there in Las Vegas that night. That's really gonna make some people speculate when I say that. But so therefore, then you say Tupac didn't die. Wait a minute. What about all the negativity? How much negativity did that scenario create? How much anger and fear and panic? What kind of mind state did that aid and assist people to create within the public domain? Now look at Biggie. When if Biggie really didn't die? As Tretch from Naughty by Nature said in one interview, he said two of the biggest rap legends are out walking around, no one knows nothing about it. I can completely see Biggie not dying either. If Tupac did not die, then when it comes around to the Tupac and Biggie thing, you can't forget about New Jersey. Gaddafi. Did Gaddafi somehow fake his death? Gaddafi was the closest one to Tupac out of all the outlaws. So it makes sense for Gaddafi to fake his death to be with the person he's closest to. Okay. So from this scenario, how would it benefit? In what way and how would it benefit whom for the world to have the perception that these two black guys, two rappers, basically the rest of the world, especially at that time in 1996, they always saw these guys as like, Tupac being like trash, Biggie being trash, garbage, two guys from, low income neighborhoods, in trouble with the law and stuff like that. Just nobody, just black, Negroes from the hood that were allowed to make music and be, you know how it is. And so the Tupac and Biggie thing would fit a complete scenario of mutating the conscious beliefs of those around. A lot of people adopted a negative outlook on life and a negative lifestyle by portraying these types of things. See, it goes back to that Sandy Hook thing. If this didn't even happen and nobody died, it doesn't matter if people have the beliefs that it existed. If people have the belief that Tupac and Biggie were involved in some sort of feud and they killed each other, and this involves the rap industry and rap, everybody listens to rap and stuff. It's just consciousness. And so that's what's really behind the door of conspiracy. When you get up to the top levels, it has less to do with secret groups and less to do with anybody really having power over you. it has to do with the transmutation of your beliefs. Can they get you to believe something? And if they can get you to believe something, your beliefs define what state of being you're in. You can't experience anything if it's not a belief. Even if it's a subconscious belief, it's your belief. You know, I mean, people were saying this thousands and thousands of years ago, you know, in China. People were saying this, you know, just now mainstream science is starting to present it as being, you know, okay, mainstream science saying, okay, that's accurate. People have said it for thousands of years. It's just your beliefs. Okay, so that's what's at the crust, or that's what's at the heart of conspiracy research. At the end of it all, just like, you know, with the Kennedy thing, man, he might not even have died. How do you know? How do you know? How do you know these people died? How do you know? You don't know. There's no way you can know. It's your belief. It's your belief that what you're being shown is real. You're speculating that what you're being shown is 1,000,000% accurate, and because you believe so much in it, then it becomes real. But there might be another side to, there might be another reality to that. It might not have never happened. See? So that's something the public has to get through their mind when it comes to this conspiracy stuff. Boy. Whew. That's something they got to get through their mind when it comes to this conspiracy stuff. It might not even be real. So, at the end of the day, through my journey, you know, my journey goes back to 1993 when I started hearing about the Roswell stuff, when I started hearing about a lot of alternative stuff, like a lot of alternative concepts and stuff like that. You know, I was 8 years old. You know, part of 93, I was 7, you know, part of it I was 8, but that took me back to a time in my life where I was searching for strange, at that time I didn't look at it as being strange, I looked at it as being cool. I looked at alternative stuff as being cool. And then in the 2000s, it kind of blew up. And so somewhere around the mid-2000s, I started going out and talking to people and bringing my research into the manifold. I started communicating my concepts to people who did not know about these types of concepts, therefore introducing myself into the public fabric with alternative research. And I think a lot of people in today's world have sort of, you know, a lot of people in today's world, you could say, are at a disadvantage because they didn't get to experience what you call the conspiracy culture before it became mainstream. They experienced it from, they're experiencing it from the book rack in the stores. They're experiencing it from YouTube. They're experiencing it from, you know, their iPod or something, or, you know, all these different people out there, you know, and I think Alex Jones is pretty cool. Like, I listen to some of his stuff. I remember him and Jason Burmis. They were doing that Hardin, Montana thing, and where there was some chick named Becky Shea, and she was like running this private prison or something in Hardin, Montana. They were going to open it, and Alex and I went down there, and you know, it was a big thing, and you know, I had called in that day and talked to Jason Burmis. And so at that time, this was like 2008, 2009, something like that. But at that time, I had viewed the alternative conspiracies, alternative subjects, as having potential because it was becoming more mainstream. And what I realized is, though it's becoming more mainstream, more people are looking for the light instead of becoming the light. You know? More people are looking for the light instead of becoming the light. And that has to do with the belief that there's something outside of you that's going to save you or help you. And so a lot of people running to the book racks, running to all these different places for information, but they don't put their own spin on it. You can have 10 books. One book can do more justice for you than those 10 books if you read it properly. If you study it, if you read it 4 or 5 times over and study it and reference it and cross-reference it. See, Jameel Rawls' research isn't about, I'm an energetic state. I'm a perspective of the universe. I'm a building block of the universe, such as, this coffee cup is, such as everything else is. So my particular perspectives are coming from an aspect of the universe which I represent. Everybody else and everything else represents a different aspect of the universe. And it's all truths are true. If you believe something to be true, it's true for you. It might be, other people might agree with that truth. And if two people have two different, a lot of people come into this stuff expecting there to be one truth, one truth, one truth. I thought that way too. For a long time, for years, I used to think there's only one truth. It's only going to be, did the KGB do it? Did the CIA do it? Blah, blah, blah. It's not really like that. It's more fluid and malleable than you think. And people are sort of lost and looking for guidance, looking for leaders. I think a lot of people go through their life and they never take action on stuff, and then they get to a certain point in their life where they know they haven't taken action, and then it becomes a thing where they kind of like look at everybody and everything who is taking action as being sort of like an attack upon them. There's a lot of people out there who are successful at what they do. And when I view these individuals, I think, man, isn't that something? This person is being successful at what they're doing. Is what you're successful at. Are you going to be successful at what you're currently doing, or you want to be successful at something else? A lot of people are stuck in a victim mentality. So they're successful at their victim mentality. A lot of people refuse to accept themselves as being powerful building blocks of the universe. They want other people to be that for them. And then they're dissatisfied with the results of that. You can't ask somebody to be your hero for you and then be angry that you don't get the glory. Alright, so Jameel Rawls' research in 2016 is going to be a little bit more like a company. Before we did things and we put things out there, just sort of like amateur conspiracy. Most of my interviews, like you can hear the phone ringing. I just did an interview with Lord Eisenhower. You can still hear the phone ringing in the background and stuff. It's not that I don't know how to edit that out. It's just that I try to keep it sort of like, I don't know, I sort of like the amateur way of doing stuff. But, as we proceed to give the people what they need, we're going to have to step it up and make things a little bit more rounded for more individuals. I'm starting to get emails from people, some guy from England emailed me recently about like channeling and my concepts on channeling. I got people from Africa who've put contact into me. There's a lot of people coming out of the woodwork, and so I think my expectations are going up. One of the things I want to do is show people how to do your own conspiracy research. A lot of people get lost. They look at conspiracy research, and they're not really sure how conspiracy researchers come to the conclusions they come to. Like many good detectives, a lot of this stuff is instinct. It has less to do with fact-based finding and paperwork and all this stuff. It has more to do with how you feel what's going on is going on, and you go on your hunch. The best detectives out there use psychics. And that's what Jameel Rawls research is deeply involved with, is using people who channel, that's psychic. I'm very much interested in astrology, numerology, things like that. And so we're going to be showing people how the metaphysical, intuitive type world plays a hand, okay, in Jameel Rawls' research. And one of the things we're going to look at first, we might just jump head into, what's the mystery behind Tupac Shakur? My take is he did not die. It doesn't mean he's not dead now, it just means he did not die when they say he died. I think he's even alive now. And of course, we're probably going to have to add Biggie in there. And like I say, don't forget about New Jersey. What I mean by that is Gaddafi. He was the closest to Tupac. And they said he died in New Jersey like a week after they said Pac died. A couple weeks. So we're going to have to look into that. The guy who the guy who hacked the CBS signal was broadcasting on the CBS network back in '87. That's something I'm interested in. The Titanic, what really happened with the Titanic, that's something I'm interested in. We're going to be doing a lot more interviews at Jameel Rawls Research. We're going to be doing, I got some interviews coming out with people that I haven't interviewed before. And I got an interview coming out with somebody I have interviewed before. We're going to be doing, what I like to do is I like to do interviews with people who are well known, and I like to do interviews with people that have never been heard before. The only bad thing with that is a lot of people who have never done interviews before are usually afraid. They'll say, I'm down, I'll do the interview. But a lot of times at the last minute they get scared. So it's a little challenging to find people who are up to do interviews who've never done one before. And I just, I do it over the phone. Like I said, you can hear the phone ring in the background and all that stuff. But, so we're starting to leave. Now this is going into 2016. And we're going to start leaving the amateur conspiracy world stuff behind. We're going to start to enter more and more to the professional, or more professional, more mainstream. And so, a lot of this stuff, I don't see, the reason why I don't like the mainstream stuff is because it's so watered down. The more public you get, the less you can talk about, and the less people are going to, the more basic it gets. So maybe not. Maybe we won't. Maybe we'll just say fuck it, and not try to brush it up a little. Maybe we'll just keep it. Maybe we'll just keep it amateur. Hell, that's what we'll do. We'll just keep it amateur. Fuck it. So I don't know. So that's what we're doing. 2016. Jameel Rawls Research Corporation.